Shottas was my brother's idea. Keith, the whole world know him as father, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? I know he's right here, right now, you know, so, you know what I mean, that was all father's idea. You know, one day we was hanging out, chilling out, and he came up with this idea. He's like, let's do a movie called Shottas. I'm like, Shottas? You know, I mean, I wanted to laugh at him. I wanted to like just chase him out of the room. But because of the respect that I have for him, I'm like, all right, tell me about it. And he started telling me the whole story, this whole story that he had in his head. I start listening, and the more I listen, the more interesting it gets. So we decided to do the story, to start it off from Jamaica, about these two kids who lifelong friends. And, you know, long story short, I wrote the script in 3 days. And like 15 days after that, we start shooting the movie. Shottas has been classified as the biggest bootleg movie of all times. There was an article in one of these trades, and the guy that wrote the piece said with his research that he did, between 2002 up until early 2005, Shottas have sold over 2 million bootleg copies.
Everyone tell me that, listen, they have a copy of Shottas, that it is the movie that they want to keep, that they watch it as often time as if they watch Scarface.
This film, you know, like you say, on bootleg has done miracles. I was in Ethiopia on the 6th of February for my father's anniversary, performing in front of about 300,000 people. And I swear to you, it's almost like every other person that came up to me was like, I just got through watching Shottas, and I'm like, you shitting me. Way over here in Ethiopia.
I remember I'm in South Africa doing a movie in South Africa, and I had my locks, and this guy who was selling bootleg things on the side of the street saw me, and he like, hey, my friend, you know, and called me over. Went over to me like, you Jamaican? I'm like, yeah, why? He said, oh man, I got the Jamaican movie for you. I got the best Jamaican movie for you. I'm like, what movie is that? And he picked up this, Shottas. I was like, oh my God. You know, this guy is selling me my own movie for 20 rand.
Jamaican people don't wait, you know? The ball keep turning, and we change things very fast. Today you're hot, today it's not. You know, not tomorrow, today. So you have to give it to them as it come. Can't keep them waiting. So when they got the movie and they get the seal of approval, and I say, yeah, we see it and we watch it and it look good and we love it. You know, that kind of that good for us, you know, all right, the people who will make it for first and foremost appreciate of it.
It's the highest bootleg ever in history in any movie, Shottas. The highest. Shottas, everybody in their grandma got it.
Quick story, I'm in the airport, Miami International Airport, going to Jamaica. And there's this nice little old lady, she must have been at least 70, standing next to me, and I'm checking in, and she looks over to me and she said, are you coming on a movie there? So I looked at her and I was like, what movie? She said, that Shottas. So I was like, yeah. She was like, I love that movie. And I couldn't believe it, because here's this little short old lady telling me she loves the movie.
I know that in every bad situation, there's a good side, you know? So I just rolled with the punches. And now, here's the good side. The good side is my movie's now sold to Screen Gems, and I have a deal with Screen Gems to do the sequel. And, you know, we're gonna redo them 2 million copies, you know, that they talk about. So that's 2 million potential fans I got out there right now.
You know that the thing you find. Turn up the rhythm. You know that the thing you find. Turn up the rhythm. The guitar is
After I read the script, pretty much Cess and I spoke back and forth while the time he was writing, and he kind of gave me hints as the direction he was taking. So based on that, right away in my mind, I start casting it.
You couldn't have picked a better cast. You know, with each individual, with each role that they play, it was almost, it's magical.
We picked some guys that were real tough, a real street image. We put some guys together who, if they get roughed off, they would like break. And we just put them together to form the authenticity of everything.
When I decided that I want Kimani to play Biggs, that was like a decision that everybody who was involved with the picture, me, my brother, all my friends, everybody was like, yeah, Kimani's perfect. And when we decided for Kimani, you know, out of respect, you know, for his manager, we gave him the script. He read it and he come back and he was like, nah, Kimani can't do this.
Cess called me and was like, yo, did you get the script? And I was like, what script? And he was like, yeah, I gave your manager the script to give to you. You didn't get the script. And I was like, no.
He's like, what is it about? I tell him, he's like, bring me the script. I said, I got it right here in the car.
And I read it, and like the first 10 pages, I was in love. And I called Cess and I was like, yo, I'm on. And he was like, meet me at the office. I was like, and I'm coming right now.
This guy, I'm gonna tell you all right now, Kimani is gonna be, this guy, his acting abilities are out of this world. Bob, his dad would have been so proud right now to be around to see, you know, that his kids don't only sing, you know?
You know, I have to keep saying what really helped me, you know, to find myself and find my comfort was actually Spragga. And having that vibe between the both of us and that relationship.
Well, when we met Kimani, officially to start with, from the first day, it just gelled, you know, from the first scene.
I was very interested when I hear about the movie, the concept that Cess bring to me, explain the type of movie and the part that he want me to play. And then I heard Spragga involved in the movie, Bob Marley's son, which is Kimani, him involved in the movie, and I say, all right, I'm gonna do this movie.
Well, look who the fuck is back.
The minute they agree that they want to do it, I fly them in, and from the minute they land, pick them up from the airport, bring them to my rehearsal spot. And we just rehearse. We rehearse even the morning before we shoot. We do stuff like that, you know, so that much I know we needed to do. That much, you know, I have that much knowledge about filmmaking that we're gonna have to rehearse, you know. That was my way of see how the actors, they interact with each other to see if the chemistry is there.
You must have a gun to protect all that money, not you, boss?
Me no need no gun, youth. Me no afraid of nothing and no one.
Little Biggs was played by my son, JR.
We need a tool.
When I wrote the script, I'm like, why am I gonna cast a stranger for this role? I have a kid at that same age. So I gave the script to his mom and said, hey, rehearse him. You know, I would be calling and say, is he studying his lines? You know, he come from school, he's doing his homework, he's rehearsing. You know, and he was excited too, you know what I mean? He was all about it.
Me and my mother was up every night till I don't know when, you know, talking about, yo, you need to make sure you do your accent like this, you need to make sure you remember these certain lines and say it like this, say it like that.
And then I matched him with Carlton Grant Jr., who is Spragga Ben's son. Okay, these two kids, when they met, I flew my son to Jamaica. Carlisle was in Jamaica already because he lived there. And the minute these kids meet each other, they bond.
Natural instincts, man. Carlisle just, improvisation is crazy, you know. Actually, my father was telling us, don't improvise nothing. Everything that's on the script, everything that's in print, do it. Carlisle said, all right, I'm gonna still do it. I'm gonna still make it big, do it big.
The role that I was playing, I felt if Cess was to add on something, it would bring out more life into the movie and what the movie had to say. Because some parts of the role, to me, I thought could use a little enhancement.
He didn't really have the script neither. I hear them saying that he knew the parts. He didn't have the script for a long time.
And these kids, man, they take directions like pros, you know. These two kids was on the set giving other actors their lines, and then laughing at the other actors like, oh, they don't know their lines.
You'll never know that they weren't friends before, but that's when they met and they bonded right away, and It was like a chemistry between both of them, and they just took it to the next level.
The scene with the gun between the two houses, when Wayne go and got the gun, that he know where it was hidden, and then he brought it to Biggs at Biggs' auntie's house. Then you saw when he came out the house with no shirt.
Man, auntie.
They walk in the back, you know, and the auntie know they're up to no good. You know, she doesn't know what, but she knows. She just smells something. They're up to no good. So so they went in the back, and the whole words when he saw the gun was, "To they were rich." Like, this is their ticket. They find the ticket out. This is it. The gun is the ticket out.
Give me the money.
Why put that thing away, man? I hurt somebody with it.
The money, give it to me.
If these kids do not get options, then these are the monsters we're gonna keep creating. You know what I mean? That was just my little way of trying to say something positive. Other people might think it was negative, but that was my way of saying, hey, you know, it could happen like that. You know, so let's give these kids, you know, something else.
I never shot any type of gun, any BB gun, any water gun, any whatever. You know, and I shot it off. The minute I shot it, my ears were like, it felt like I was deaf for like, I don't even know how long, 5, 10 hours, I don't know. It was just like a couple seconds, but Carlisle laughed his ass off. Whew.
Wait, what you gonna do with your money? No, give it to my mother. Well, they give some money to Sando. You got visa connection. You buy me a visa.
They were like best friends throughout the whole thing. And it was so funny because same thing with Kimani and Spraga.
Really and truly, I didn't really know Spraga. I knew Spraga as an artist before this, but didn't really know him personally. It's really on the set that me and Spraga became such good friends. And I think it was at that time, you know, me and him reasoning and becoming friends, why it portrayed itself like that on film, you know, because it wasn't nothing forced, it was all right. You know, this man become a friend, and now we're playing friends on film, so it made it all more comfortable, and then it put me in a sense of comfort, having, you know, Sess as a friend also directing it, and having now your friend as a co-star.
Now today they are like best friends, because this movie did that to them. But when they first got together, they gelled. So it was so ironic watching Kimani and Spraga, you know, bonding, and watch my kid and Spraga's son, who are playing Young Biggs and Wayne Bond, you know? So it was so easy to do the transition from kids to adulthood.
Anything when me have, you know, I tell you, a year one, you know, my house is yours, my bitch is yours, well, not my wife, but anything, you see me? Right, you know.
My process is identification.
Are you showing me how the game, man?
Can someone identify with that role, with that character?
4 years now, them dip me on me there, you know. I see me come down like you know, with nothing, you know. Yeah, man, me look on and say, so what? You have to step up the game. Yeah, for real. Take America out of your mind.
It's a thing in the eyes. Your eyes are the depths of your soul. The minute you see that, you can tell that, all right, this is someone that I can really get out of them. What is it that I want to make this work?
Shottas is real. I just want to, you know what I mean, let the world know that, you know, what they seen, you know, is like a written story, but a true story.
When I first read the script, the authenticity about the whole thing, that the first thing that grabbed me, it was very real. Could I relate to the whole thing, you know? Knew people who probably travel that road.
We become so obsessed with it because we know that life, you know, we live that life. We have friends who live that life daily. I have friends who still live in that life, you know, so it was something that we became very passionate about.
This is a true story for more people than one. I mean, I know a lot of people that go through the same experience where they are the only ones standing right now, you know what I mean, and looking to never, ever, ever again be a part of that, you know what I mean. We have people that I know that been through that and now every Sunday religiously them there at church because that is not the life they want to continue because everything that he had and all the people around him is no longer.
It was also a brand new concept. It's something that no one has ever heard of, you know. I think people was really drawn to it for the fact that here are some kids from Jamaica who doing a movie and we're not looking to other sources for financing. We're not looking to the so-called establishment to approve it. You know what I mean? We're gonna do it regardless. So it was a revolution. And everybody was like, okay, this revolution is gonna be televised. Fuck it, we getting on board. You know?
I wanted to be a part of a project that would expose Jamaican lifestyle, you know, for what we don't know it, and expose, you know, that is really the politician who caused the country to be like this, you know, as much as we want to believe different, you know, it's through sufferation and through the inner city youth them not getting the right amount of chances and the right amount of education, so therefore they don't go thing them know to do, which is go out and rob and kill, you know what I mean, and that is their survival. So I don't agree with it, but in a way, you know what I mean, what can I say?
Jamaican politics seem to be very corrupt, you know, and not just Jamaican politics. I don't want to brand Jamaica alone, but it is very corrupt, and we know a lot of corrupt people, because Jamaica is a small island, and nothing we say in Jamaica, nothing can hide.
Shottas really is the only film that really exposed the Jamaican gangster lifestyle for what it is and left no stones unturned. You know what I mean? And the Jamaican community and the people love it. But of course the bigger heads that we kind of expose them a little bit, they don't appreciate that because, you know, their secrets are now coming out into the light for the rest of the world to see.
The most corrupted thing in this world, I think, is politics. You know, I don't think anyone go into politics to say I'm gonna be a corrupt politician. I think politics itself forced people to be corrupted. Mr. Andy was played by this actor in Jamaica, Munir Zaka, very great actor.
Detective, we both have a common problem. His name is Wayne.
This guy in the movie is worse than Biggs and Wayne, in my opinion.
You're familiar with him. You killed his brother. And now it's his turn. Just make sure that this problem is permanently eradicated.
He has the power and the influence to make changes, and he didn't do that. That's abusing your power. And the worst person in the world is someone who abused their power in any which form, whether it's a guy who abuses power by abusing a woman or abusing a child, you know, abusing his wife, any which way you take it. Or if it's the politician who uses power to abuse his constituency, to abuse the people who depend on him, you know, who look to him for leadership.
Sometimes we lash out against the politician because, you know, them do enough things to oppress the people, you know. Them sell out the country for little and nothing, and them keep the proceeds, and then, you know, the people suffer.
The politicians must come clean, and the people, if the politician not coming clean, must judge them.
Win.
There's a scene in Waterhouse and that's one of my favorite scenes, the big shootout in Waterhouse in the middle of the night. That scene where all the guys are shooting and running, when Biggs picked up the little boy and shooting back at the cops. Spragga Benz fell, and I was getting ready to say cut. And then while he fell, while he's falling, he's shooting and he get up back and keep shooting. And I just let it run. I was like, whoa, you know, that's real. It doesn't get no more authentic than that. Because in the middle of a shootout, real life shootout, you ain't got time to tell whoever shooting, yo, stop, let me get up. One thing I learned about shooting in Jamaica, you have to have two budgets, you know? You have to have the budgets to shoot the movie and the budgets to create the atmosphere to shoot the movie. There was a point where the Jamaica Film Commission, for some reason, they think, as I said, the movie was a little too real. So they were not in, I didn't really get much approval. A lot of people, didn't really want that movie to be shot. But there were guys from Waterhouse, the people in the streets, that this movie was being their voice. They wanted this movie to be shot. So the powers that be could not stop it, because I was not shooting where I was shooting the movie. The quote-unquote powers that be don't visit those places normally. I would be sitting at my monitor while we're shooting, and there was all these little kids. I'm talking about the whole neighborhood, the whole community come on. I'm talking every day we have in excess of probably 600-700 people on the set who, when you do a scene, and it's really good, the minute we say cut, they would applaud, they would cheer, and the minute we start shooting again, it's like quiet as like, they were so good with that. And there was a lot of children. Most of the crowd were kids. And these children, I see this, especially little boys, who look like little Biggs and Wayne in the movie. No shoes, no nothing. They would just sit there next to me, and their eyes would be glued to the monitor. You would hear them say cut under their breath, like 2 seconds before I say it, because they know I'm gonna cut the scene. You know what I mean? And they know the action. They know that they start learning the language. And it gave me a great sense of pride to sit back and I'm looking and I'm saying, you know what? If I could impress upon one of these kids that one of them one day could probably become a director, and they don't have to pick the gun up. They don't have to be a Wayne or a Biggs. They could look and they say, hey, probably one day I can make movies instead of picking up the gun. I don't have to be a Shottas. And that's the whole thing about this, that I don't want people to get the wrong impression about this movie. This movie is not, none of us went into this movie to try to let kids emulate these characters or to impress upon kids that these are good people, these are people that was using what they have, and I am that story. I am that guy. I am Biggs. I am Wayne. I am, I'm all of those guys. But somewhere along the line, I realized that I don't like how the Biggses and the Waynes, they end up. And I decided to take things in my own hands and try to change it. Reality sometimes can be your worst enemy. Reality sometimes can be your worst enemy. There are times when we're shooting and the scene was it was set up so real that there were people who were not a part of the production who would just walk into the scene and think it was a shootout.
Jamaica and shooting, it just go natural together, so people just think it's a real thing. Yeah. If they see the cameras, they think it's TV.
I remember we were shooting in Halfway Tree, and we have this scene set up where it's a shootout between the guys on the motorcycle, Black on Mad Max, and Detective Lang, and all of them. And we're set up, and this woman drives up, and she drives up right as they start shooting. She's slamming her brake, and she starts screaming at the top of her voice and getting out of a car, ready to running away. Someone have to grab her and be like, "No, ma'am, it's a movie." We had a few of those. I remember a scene we're shooting when Biggs first went back to Jamaica, and Mad Max and Wayne went to visit Mr. Chen at the car dealership. That was a very scary day for us.
And to this day, when I speak about it, I feel like the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Because Seth never told me about this until after.
The guy who owns the dealership, we agreed with him that we would not stop his business from going. So he could use one side of his lobby area to conduct his business while we were shooting on the other side of the glass.
To my understanding, there were 2 undercover cops in the place renting a car at the time. Saw the action going down, didn't realize that it was a movie. And, you know, unholstered their weapons. To my understanding, one of the cops had me lined up, the one without the gun. You know, he told Sess after that he was going to shoot the one without the gun first, which was me, standing at the back. And then, I guess through the grace of God, you know what I mean, I guess the girl who was dealing with it at the time realized that, you know, he don't know exactly what's going on and jump up and tell him that it's a movie. And maybe if she hadn't did that, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you.
Everyone who don't need to be here outside. Seriously, it's not a joke.
One of the cops started crying because he's like, God damn, I almost killed Bob Marley's son. You know? And that was a crazy day for us.
And roll camera. 42, take 1. Speed. And action. Cut.
On action, the first car should be leaving when you say action.
Or if you want, I can send this in later. So they
Send
can
in
finish
later
up the
so they
deal.
could see the transaction.
Okay.
Back up, big. Back up.
Seth, the director, he kind of surprised me when he came across very professional. He let everybody feel important, and he let everyone feel as if, listen, this part is for you, and therefore you need to bring it out.
Not being disrespectful, but Sess have the gift of gap. You know what I mean? So, and he's very motivating, you know what I mean? He's the one that keep pushing you, you know, to strive for perfection. It's not the one who say, all right, okay, you did that and you fuck up. No, it's like, all right, that was good, but I know you can do it better. So that within me more motivate me instead of saying, all right, that was wrong, and that is that, and then maybe that would draw me back in myself, and, you know, the next time I won't be so attentive. But, you know, he's always kept a positive outlook.
This was my first movie that I was acting in, so Sess really played a big part in that, in showing me what I was supposed to do, how he wanted me to do everything.
It's not my father when he directs, man. That's Sess Silvera.
When the time come to work, let's work, you know? When you say cut, all right, back to life again and back to relaxing and whatever it is.
We're shooting, I think, in Opalaka, and a cop is driving by. And in that scene, we need a cop. How about Sess flags down the cop and bring him in the movie?
One of the worst thing about directing is working with a hard-headed actor, man.
No.
An actor who don't take direction.
We didn't do Shottas for the money, definitely not, because Sess has no money. Sess has a debt to pay financially, which we're not going to string him up for it still. But we know that Sess has a vision. So to make his vision become reality, we put our heart into it.
We shot the early part of the movie in this area in Jamaica, Waterhouse, which is not really, it's not Disneyland, you know? You know what I'm saying? Waterhouse is a serious place because 97% of the community are living in poverty. I wanted to show the landscape of Kingston. That's why in that helicopter shot, the opening shot, I'm coming off the mountainside, you know, going over this town called Riverton City, which is a dump where people live on this dump. Come down over into Waterhouse, and then I go right into the little lane in Waterhouse where the kids were playing soccer the first time you see them. I really wanted to capture that rawness, show the kids running around with no shoes, playing cops and robbers. You know, in Jamaica we call it police and thief, you know. I used to do that in Jamaica, you know, with my board gun. The crazy thing about that in Jamaica playing cops and robbers is to find the kids to play the cops. Because nobody wanted to play the cop, you know. So I had to set that up.
And action.
I brought a crew to Jamaica, which I didn't have to do. If I knew better, I would have done different, but I didn't know. So I flew 40-something people to Jamaica, and most of these are Caucasian, you know, white people, you know, that never been to a place like Waterhouse. So not only know that I gotta bring these people, I gotta watch out for them. These guys are walking around like, hey, you know, like I'm on vacation, you know? And, you know, I'm like, oh my God, please don't stray over there, you know? We gotta, you know, come back. Some of them realized that it wasn't really a walk in the park. There are a few of them that come back prematurely that, you know, I remember one morning I got a knock on my hotel door, and it was like 3 crew members like, can we just get our passport back? We want to go home. You know, because we don't know what is the movie or what is reality. You know, it's like, you know, the day before, you know, a few little incidents happened on the set. They got really shaken up, and they're like, you know what? I tell you what, keep whatever money you owe us. We go home. I have to send them home. But most people hang in there with me, you know. I would be a big disrespect if I think I could just walk up into any neighborhood and just shoot and don't think of, you know, looking out for the people who live in that neighborhood. You know what I mean? When I pack up my set and I go back to America, they still got to live in those neighborhoods and do what they have to do. You know, these guys they were cool, man. Those my peoples. I can relate to those people.
In Jamaica, it was, you know, more home live. After I finish shooting, I head home to a home cooked meal. You know, after I finish shooting in Miami, I head to the hotel.
I shot in Miami first because I was anticipating a harder time shooting in Jamaica. So I said, let me get the easy part out of the way first. But to be honest, it was easier shooting in Jamaica because it's worse being a black filmmaker in America trying to shoot a movie without permits. You know, it's even worse, you know, so it was harder. But the good thing about Miami that made things a little cool for us in Miami is that we all are from Miami. I live in Miami, Kimani live in Miami, you know, all my friends. So, you know, we have things to our access, like the cars in the movie, those are all our cars. You know, the houses in the movie are our houses, the boats, the jewelry, you know, the watches that were on their hands were, you know, our watches. So everything was ours. So it was easier for us to shoot because these things we have handy.
That'll be $67,000. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, man. The jewelry store scene is a true life scene. It happened in real life. This guy, you know, went into Mayors to shop for jewelry, and the girl in there was not paying him no attention. You know, just looking at him like, okay, like, what are you doing here? You're not even worthy to be in here. And he picked up on that, you know. Went in his pocket and he come up with a wad of cash and like, hey, how much is that Rolex? Give it to me. And right there, her whole attitude changed.
Can I get you something?
My favorite part of the movie is when I switched the cars. And I was driving in the Hummer to see if that Hummer truck is gonna be followed by 2 thieves.
Yo, Biggs, Dongles, the boy Teddy Brock shot girl up on our way. I want to rate Hummer shot drive, yeah?
See, respect.
Bless.
They thinking that, you know, they gonna jam this Hummer truck with a female. And I really love that scene, really, you know, because I switched cars around the block. And when we switched cars, everybody came up to me. A lot of people came up to me and said, yo, that was so gangster when you switched that car, because my girl left in a Hummer with $200,000, which one of my security force, which is Dangles. He's a good friend of mine in real life, but his character was a serpent.
A snitch is the worst. He's at the bottom of the barrel in that world, you know? You know what I mean? I mean, in that world, a murderer, a cold-blooded killer, has more chance of getting pardoned by those characters than a snitch does.
John was the man, nah, do me right, and this man slab me, I ride bike, how much man me kill for the youth. But you what?
He's the only person know that I'm sending 200,000 to Jamaica. So if he's working with these guys, I had a hired gun from out of New York, which is Wild Cliff, come and I say, you're gonna take this guy for a ride, and if I give you a call, when I give you that call, make sure to get rid of this kid for me.
Motherfucker, that threw me in the motherfucking pool!
Wyclef came on just to help me out with the music. You know, I wanted the Wyclef expertise for his music to do the score and to help me with the soundtrack and all of that. And then while we're shooting, one day Wyclef flew into Miami and we're shooting the role, the Richie role that he played, and we didn't have an actor. You know, we didn't have an actor, so I'm like, Clef, I got a role for you.
I took care of it, it's done, man.
That's why I'm gonna put my trust in him. I love you on a road, boy.
And he came on cold turkey, you know, walking into the set and, you know, no time for rehearsal, no nothing. So, Clef, you see, man, I'm you know, I got love for you, homie. Having these guys going back to Jamaica for a number of years and just coming back to Miami and take over would be unnatural, you know? Someone has to take us to, you know, because that game, that hustle game, that street game, it's like a corporation. Someone get fired, the next person take over their position. They leave Jamaica, leave a trail of whatever they left behind. They come back to Miami, they want their turf back.
Rascal.
While they're away, someone took over. So Teddy Brockshot took over, you know? To get it back, they have to do whatever it takes.
Where I did?
Got a message for you, bitch.
Kind of message you have for me?
Playtime is over.
And the first thing it takes is to pay Mr. Brockshot a visit to let them know that we're back. They have to be like, we're back, and they couldn't do it in a nice way. They couldn't call on the phone and say, hey, could we get our turf back? They have to go back and be like, hey, playtime is over. You know? Top Shottas are back.
Talking about Teddy Brockshot, but he's an exception to every role, and he can just bring out whatever authentically you think you want to run when you hear him talking for real. You think this brother really gonna shoot you because him bring it like that.
If them not come out in a 90-second, kill every blood clot.
I even liked the role at first. When he gave it to me, I said, Seth, why I'm not killing people, you know what I mean? So, and he says, man, you don't need to kill no people. You're the big dog in this.
Don't you ever say nothing about no banana boat again. Never, ever say that again.
And big dogs don't kill people. Big dogs send small dogs to kill people. So, you know what I mean? I felt that, you know? And, you know, I work in it and I started loving it. You know, and not only that, he gave me a woman with the biggest titty I ever seen. I was sucking on them too. So I just like...
When time comes to do the stunts, I turn to Kimani and I'm like, hey, You know, I don't have no stuntman for you. So he had no problem when it times to dive over the back of the sofas and do his own stunt. When it's time to do it, hey, he go for it, man. He broke a few fingers diving over the back of that sofa.
As far as the stunts, Cess owe me some money for a doctor bill. Cause that jumping over the cold scene that you see. There was no mat on the other side, and that was hard concrete that Cess had me jumping over and over and over. For me, it was still exciting, you know, because I think growing up, I always wanted to be an actor, and I was always fascinated with acting and, you know, all the action movies.
Deep down inside, they're good guys. You know, they're good guys. You know, I mean, it's like swimming with sharks. You know what I mean? These guys know they're in that world. They know the world they're in, and you got to be the baddest motherfucker to survive in that world.
So the key to this movie is definitely friendship. You know? About friendship, about people, kids who coming up from childhood. You know, and the bonds that are created even when they are separated. The friendship in the end where it's going to his friend, even over his girl, just shows that, you know, the depth of the bond to show that a man who know that another woman, you know, can come just like that. But you're not going to really have another friend who have your back.
These two friends, you know, nothing separate them. No man, no drugs, no money, no female, nothing. So. So, you know, and then friends like that is hard to find. That don't come by really too often.
I think you like these guys because you see where they're coming from, you know, and you have a history. You see their history. You see these two guys. You see these guys growing up together. You know, it's not like strangers just thrown together and, you know, try to force something on the audience. These people, you have their history. You see these guys. You see them grow up together. You see them go through the trials and tribulations. You see them butt heads with one another. And there's nothing more for me as a movie goer to watch a movie where I can connect with the actor from an emotional standpoint. You know, the action's cool. I want to be entertained by that, but for me to enjoy the action, there have to be some connection emotionally going on. You know, I love a conflicted character who got all these contradictions going on.
So I know you. I tell the rock shot, you know. Pussy wall. You killed my friend.
Paul Campbell studied at the Royal Academy in London. You know what I mean? This guy is a polished actor. So if you look at Mad Max, you see how bad Biggs and Wayne could be. And would you like them if they were that bad? Probably not. You know? So Mad Max cushion take that for them, you know. So you look at them and say, oh man, they're bad, but here's somebody who's worse. So at least we could roll with them. Max is doing more harm to himself because the worst thing I think you can do to someone is, you know, like someone commit a crime. I don't think the best thing for them is to punish them with the same crime.
Well, let's get him inside quick.
You know him? You know him?
Nah, I just gave him a ride.
Let them live with their guilt. Let them deal with it. Let it rip them up inside. Let it destroy them. And sometimes I think that's better punishment than just getting rid of them right away. Getting rid of them sometimes is the easy way out.
What else you want from me? Kill me, girl. Give you everything me have, road boy.
The thing I didn't like about what Seth did to me in this movie, the pool when I got shot, it was so cold. I was freezing my balls off, okay? I said, Seth, I'm cold. He says, man, go on in that pool. He had me jump back in that pool like 5 times. Action 1, action 2, action 3. You know, but it was so much fun doing that movie, I'll be honest with you.
The entire movie for me was a blast, you know, because between every cut, there was some kind of comical activity taking place, whether it be Teddy Brockshot and Cess, whether it be Sprague and someone else. Just the atmosphere at the time, you know, everybody was one unit. You know, we didn't have any ego, we didn't have one man feeling like, okay, him is the better actor, him is the bigger star. Everyone was on the same level, and I think that's what really made it work.
That's not a Hollywood movie. As I'm saying, probably Hollywood couldn't even create this, you know, because it's not about the money. A lot of the people who are in the movie work because they view it as a Jamaican project, Jamaican people working and doing the thing that we can do and showing the world what we're capable of, you know, so they put the fun and the art into that.
That thing Shottas did for Jamaica and the next generation of Jamaica is to let us know that we Jamaicans, we can have a film industry.
I want to do documentaries, you know. I want to do real life because that's what Shottas was. It was real life. It might as well have been a documentary, you know what I'm saying? But I realized that that's what I want to do from that film alone.
Jamaica has more to offer than just beaches and the sun and the sun. I think Cess and his team really came together as a family in producing this wonderful film, and I think that everybody is going to enjoy it.
When we get together, it was like a family thing, you know what I mean? Then not only that, we ain't no punks. And the streets seen it, the street feel it, the street love it, and that's what it's all about.
In Jamaica, we have a lot of stories to tell, and Cess knows that. And Cess wants to bring that wealth to the world.
I want to bring change, man, to Jamaica, positive change. You know, give people hope. Give the kids in the ghetto hope.
This will be the door opener for the film industry in Jamaica. Yeah.
You know.